Hello, everybody, and welcome to your new moon video for the new moon taking place in Sravana Nakshatra, the star of listening. Sometimes it can feel like the universe is pulling the wool over our eyes again and again and again. And when we start off seeing something that seems like a good path for us to go down, and it kind of hits a block or a barricade, or there's lots of potholes down that path, or it ends up like, taking a diversion and going in 20 different areas so that you're a good 7 miles away from your destination anyway, then we just begin to go, should I really go down that road? And right now, you're actually maybe noticing a few different opportunities or ways in which you could advance your own particular cause. But you may be questioning, are any of these actually going to lead anywhere? Or are they going to be another one of those dead ends with lots of twists and turns and potholes and like when we trust our sat nav to take us in a certain direction and suddenly we end up stuck in a mud bog somewhere. I've actually had that happen before, but that's a matter for another day. But sometimes we end up not really feeling like we can trust ideas or opportunities that we see. And sometimes, even though we might be having a special hunch about something, when our hunches don't seem to return any quote unquote progress, well, then we end up kind of doubting our intuition. And in addition to that, doubting direction. And if you find yourself in just such a situation and you could use a good help out of that mud bog, I do offer several different levels of astrological service. All of those are available through my services page that you will find linked above. But you likely found yourself, in recent times going in certain directions. Maybe you even had the weight of more people besides yourself to pull. And in going in that particular direction and things not really working out the way you wanted them to, well, it may have felt to you like you made a mistake. In life, sometimes even though we can do things and things can go in the wrong direction, life takes all these twists and turns that we learn from. So on one level, even though we could maybe call them misgivings, there's not really any mistakes as long as we kind of pay attention and we learn from the experiences that we're going through. But that being the case, when our choices create more difficulty for other people besides just ourselves, it's easy to feel a lot of responsibility. And you may feel that other people are not quite so happy with your performance, right? But the thing is with this particular situation, as we have the sun, Mercury, and the moon all in Sravana Nakshatra, there's a lot of confusion that's going on between those three planets. Mercury and the moon, even though they get a good amount of positive energy from the sun, they also get agitated by the sun. And so it makes it so that our ideas and decisions, the objective mind and the subjective mind, get kind of disrupted by being so close to the sun. And then we end up kind of feeling like the ideas or opportunities that are opening up before us are somewhat out of sync with our lives. And when you've got that going on in Sravana Nakshatra, which is renowned for quite often putting many different paths in front of us and going, which of these are you going to choose? Well, ultimately, on one level, it doesn't really matter which road you choose. You could always jump from one to another and alter the path because, hey, sometimes that's just life. But about those mistakes that you feel that you made and about the pressure that you likely feel that is on you now to create a vat of wine out of a drop of water, well, you need to kind of recognize that, okay, well, sometimes putting a good amount of love for the people who are connected with you and going down the road with you is one of the biggest miracles ever. We can't always, even though we have a lot of care and a lot of respect for those people that are around us, we can't always pull a rabbit out of a hat, right? When we don't really have a hat to pull a rabbit out of, right? So you can only do the best with what you've got in front of you. And what is making you hamstrung at the moment from being able to make any progress at all is the capacity to decide. You don't really feel like you're able to make a decision because any of those decisions could end up like leading you into some direct confrontation with some scary monster, or like I mentioned before, the aforementioned potholes or the mud bog, right? And you don't want to go in any of those directions, but you're feeling the pressure on you to pull a rabbit out of your hat, to turn a drop of water into a vat of wine, to do all these crazy things that you just really don't know that you're capable of. But here's the thing is that you're, like I mentioned, you're quite capable of doing quite a lot. And acting confused doesn't give you any strength, right? Trusting in your intuition, even if it quote unquote goes wrong, which, spoiler alert, it doesn't really go wrong. You just have to work through your situations and the karma that you individually are confronted with. So even if it goes in all those directions, doing your work, performing your actions with care and, with attention to detail really works the biggest miracles of all. If you stay focused on the mistakes that you made in the past, you're going to create more responsibility for your shoulders than you're going to be able to carry. And you've already got a really huge burden on your shoulders at the present moment. And we all know that. As a matter of fact, we all have that burden on our shoulders. And that's maybe why people are kind of going, hey, I need to shift some of this burden off of my shoulders and onto yours. And sometimes it's the strong ones who are forced in those positions to behave like oxen and really just kind of push their way through the scenario. So if you feel like the pressure is on you, don't focus so much on what other people are saying. Know that you're doing your best. And sure, there's likely to be some clutter and some chaos along your journey with this new moon energy. Don't get bogged down in the options. What you need to do at the moment is to choose a path, commit to it, and have willingness. And I know this sounds contradictory. Commit to the decision is what I'm trying to say, and have the capacity to pay attention and to adapt along the way. Sometimes that detour that we take is a necessary direction. Sometimes there's something we wouldn't have seen or we wouldn't have experienced if we wouldn't have gone in that direction. So don't try to overly analyze the situation. Really, on many levels, your intuition knows best. You just simply need to learn how to trust in it. If you could use a little bit of help with the astrological energies that may be making you feel bogged down at the present moment, please schedule in one of my astrological services. You can find those through my services page that you will find linked above. That's going to do it for this look at the new moon in Sravana Nakshatra, taking place on the 29th of January, 2025. Until next time, please do take the very best care of yourself. Bye now.